Hey, how's it going? It's Ollie here. So today we're going to be doing another niche spotlight. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the product garden twine. Should you sell garden twine on Amazon? Is it going to make you a load of money or not? So I like doing these videos. I think it's a really good way to illustrate to you how I do product research and the things I consider when I'm thinking about launching a product or when I'm deciding whether to launch a product or not. And sometimes it's much more beneficial for you to look at products where it's a little bit ambiguous and there's a few nuances about a product that you really need to consider. Because if I show you a product that's just a complete smash hit and it's just a perfect product, you'll learn a lot from that. But also, it's not like every single product you find is going to be like that. And not every product you launch will be a complete smash hit perfect product. You should launch a lot of products that aren't perfect. And this product probably isn't perfect, but certainly worth looking at. So let's go through the 4 elements of the smash hit product radar, see how they apply to this product, give it a score, and decide whether we should launch it or not. So quick recap. What are the 4 elements of the smash hit product radar? Well, the first one is high demand. Right, things should be selling well already. Second element is low competition. We don't want there to be too many established sellers. We don't want there to be too many brands competing with us. We want room to actually compete in the market. We want it to be low hassle, as in not going to be a nightmare to import, not going to be a nightmare to sell, not too much customer service, not too many returns, that type of thing. And we want there to be a gap in the marketplace. In other words, we want there to be room for us to improve on the product or some way that we can improve on it, right? To make our product better than everybody else's, so customers go, that's the one I want to buy when they see your product. That's why we want a gap. We need somewhere to fill, some way we can improve on the current products. So the question is, does the garden twine niche fit these 4 elements on the smash hit product radar? And by the way, I tend to do this, and this is why it kind of looks like a radar, right? And that's kind of how I map out the Amazon marketplace to decide where the hot products are. So, first thing we want to do is look at the levels of demand. In other words, we want to ask ourselves the question, are we going where the money is? Or are we trying to innovate, trying to sell products that nobody's buying, and are we taking a huge gamble? Because if no one's buying the products already, then you have no idea if it's going to sell. It could do. It could be the next big thing. Who knows? But it's just very unlikely. Surely someone would have figured out that people want to buy this thing you're trying to sell. And surely if everyone wants to buy it, then that seller would be successful. So we want to go where the money is, go where the success is. And yeah, in this niche, there's definitely lots of people making money. In fact, the number 1 bestseller right now is the brand Tenwell. And they're doing £37,000 a month in sales. So that's pretty impressive, right? £37,000 a month. That's a lot of garden twine. Now, clearly people need this stuff. For some reason, they need lots of it. So if we just imagine £37,000 per month, let's say they were doing a 20% profit margin, which is conservative. They might be doing more than that or less, who knows. They're making £7,400 a month profit with this product. I wouldn't complain, right? If a product did £7,400 a month profit, or I'm sure you wouldn't either. So, the potential is there to do that in this niche. Now, you might not necessarily make 37k a month with your product that you launch. You might make 5k a month, 10k a month. But I'm sure you probably wouldn't complain about that either. So the point is there's definitely demand. I usually look for at least 3 sellers who are doing £3,000 in revenue monthly or more as like an absolute minimum. But right now we have 6 sellers doing at least £3,000 a month in revenue or more. And so yeah, it's definitely selling. People are definitely buying this product. Okay, so in terms of high demand, you know what? I'm pretty happy with it. Tell you what, today we're going to do something slightly different. We're going to do a scoring system. Okay, so we're going to rate each one out of 20, and then I'm going to add a 5th element to this radar for today, and then we're going to give a score out of 100. So in terms of high demand, there's 6 sellers doing at least 3k a month, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So out of 20, I would rate this in terms of demand probably maybe a 13 out of 20, right? It's pretty good. It's maybe like 60%, 6 out of 10 type thing. 13 out of 20 sounds about right to me. We're going to give high demand 13 out of 20. Cool. Alrighty, so how about low competition? Low competition. Well, reason obviously we want low competition is so it's not, when we launch our product, we have just a fighting chance of making sales. Like if page 1 is completely blitzed with loads of sellers that have tons of reviews, loads of PPC campaigns happening and people using all the sponsored ads, and everything the customer sees is like really established sellers and brands, then, as a new seller, when you launch your product, it's just not really going to work that well. It's going to be so hard to get the attention of the customer, and you're going to be fighting really, really hard to get those sales. You're going to have to spend a lot more money on advertising in very competitive niches. So we want to make sure that's not the case, make sure there's enough room to compete. And the way I look at this is I look at established sellers. So I want 5 or less established sellers in the niche. In other words, 5 or less sellers with 500 reviews or more. Right, an established seller, if they've got 500 reviews or more, customers usually gravitate towards those sellers, and the more of those sellers there are on page 1, the more of the spaces get filled up on that page with established sellers, and the less room there are for new sellers to have a chance, right? I mean, if everyone on page 1 has more than 500 reviews, the customer's probably going to buy the product from someone with more than 500 reviews rather than a product with no reviews or with 10 reviews. It just makes sense. So we want as few of these as possible, usually no more than 5 in most cases. So how many are there on this page? Well, there's 4 sellers with 500 reviews or more. So that's actually pretty good. I mean, it's not the lowest competition niche I've ever seen. Right, I've seen niches where there's no established sellers or 1 established seller, and that's like amazing because the whole page is like game. The whole page, you could be anywhere on page 1 and you'd get loads of sales. But in this case, 4, pretty good, right? There's still plenty of spaces on page 1 for sellers to do well. And there's plenty of sellers here doing well as well, right? Who are on page 1. So, I mean, if we look at some of the stats for their sales, people with low reviews, someone here with 57 reviews doing £2,000 per month in sales, right? So that's a relatively new seller, I'd imagine, doing 2k a month. Someone here with 230 reviews, which in the grand scheme of things isn't that much, doing £4,300 a month. So it's proof that you don't need thousands of reviews to make decent money, right? You could just have a few reviews and your products will sell well. So out of 20, what am I going to score low competition? Well, look, it's not the lowest competition I've ever seen. It's probably 1 less than we want, or 2 less than we want, because we wouldn't want 6 established sellers, but there's 4. So maybe I will give this a 14 out of 20. I'll say that's pretty fair, wouldn't you? Not too bad, right? That's 72% or something. 72% score out of 20. Okay, what about low hassle? Well, I mean, it's garden twine. It's tiny. It's probably about this big, right? And it's very small, very light. You could probably fit, I mean, a lot of these in a box, I'd imagine. I mean, I don't know how heavy it is, and I actually don't know how big these twines are. In fact, they could be a bit bigger, maybe. I don't know. But the garden twine I remember having at home was smaller than this. Than these look anyway. So let's have a look. So package dimensions 13 centimeters by 10 centimeters by 6. Okay, yeah. So 13 centimeters is about that by 10, which is about that, and 6, which is about that. So it's a small box, 400 grams, extremely light. So it's small and it's light, right? So it seems low hassle to me. It's very durable. You could throw this at a wall and it would be fine, right? It's string. It's not, an electronic device or something. You're not going to get any returns really unless it's completely destroyed in the delivery, which probably can't happen. It's probably about as low hassle as you can get, actually. So yeah, I'm going to give this a 17 out of 20 for low hassle. I'm going to say, actually, it's extremely good for that score. Yeah, flying colours, passed with flying colours. All right, let's look at the gap. Is there a gap in the marketplace? In other words, is there anything we can do to make our twine better than what's already on offer? Well, a good clue for this would be the reviews. That's one place you can look to see if there are any gaps in the marketplace. And what I like to do is look at the best-selling product, have a look at the reviews on their product, and just have a look and see if there's anything that the customers are annoyed about, or any patterns you can see where lots of customers have said the same thing about the product not being good enough, not doing what they wanted. You can always look out for reviews that include the words wish, want, love, hate, words like that, which indicate customers, who really missing something with the product, or they really loved something. That will tell you where customers, where their priority is with the product, because some products have features that customers just don't care about, and products also have features that customers do care about, and it's the ones they do care about we want to think about, right? So if we have a look, let's have a look. If we go to try and find more customer reviews. Maybe if we click on the 1 stars, or maybe start with the 3 stars, we can see what people are saying. So this one says a little thinner, okay, than I'd have liked, right? But it does what I want, okay? The word want, super important in a review, because that's what he wanted, right? He wanted this and it didn't quite do it, so that's why it got the 3 stars. Okay, so thin. Let's see if that crops up again. It's okay, there's a decent amount there, but I'd be willing to bet there's not the amount advertised, considering one roll is almost a centimetre less in diameter than the other. All in all, I'll say good enough, but not amazing. Good enough for what I need it for, at least. So need is another word you can use as well when you're searching reviews. This twine could not handle regular bundle of twigs, immediately snapped. Okay, so too thin, again. Wanted this to grow beans up. They prefer hairy string rather than slippery poles, and I was running out. My last ball was bought about 15 years ago. This is lovely, but far too thin. Right, interesting. Okay. Every time I tried to tie a knot, it would break. Too thin. Okay, so it seems, even like most of them are saying it's weak or thin, right? Don't expect it to be strong. This person is extremely angry. They've used all caps, spelling mistakes, because they were just venting so much. Obviously, they were just like smacking the keyboard. And they've used dots and commas as an ellipses, which I've never seen before. So yeah, look, this is probably too thin, this twine. So, I mean, what you could do is come along with an extra thick, extra strong twine that does the job and doesn't snap and break and is good for tying up parcels and whatever else the customers just said that they tried to do with it. Because now we know what the customers want. We know what the customers need. Right? That's what they care about. That's what they're going to buy the product for. That's what they're going to use the product for. That's what they're going to leave reviews about the product. Right? If they need something and it does it, or if they need something and it doesn't do it, this is why we sell things. This is why people buy things. So if we can offer a product that fulfills people's needs more efficiently than these products, you'll win. Right? So that's one gap. So there is a gap, at least. Quite often you'll find there are gaps in most niches that you can fill. The second part of the question is, can you fill the gap? Which is more of a sourcing question, like when you go and contact suppliers. Can you source extra thick twine? Is it possible? I'm sure it's not hard to make twine thicker, so it should be okay. All right, so what score am I going to give for a gap? Well, the other thing I like to consider is there's no bundles on page 1. Like, nobody's bundled in it. It's just twine, twine, twine. That's it. You could offer twine plus something else with the twine, right? So they get like a pack or like a set of products together, which could make your listing look way more appealing. I'm just looking at products related to this item, some other similar items, to see if there's anything people buy alongside twine. I mean, I don't know, to be honest, what people buy alongside twine. Maybe we can have a look. Sometimes you get ideas from here, sometimes you just don't, but it's worth looking. In fact, another thing you can do is type into Google whatever it is that you want to sell and the word set. So twine set or garden twine set. Sometimes you'll get some pictures or something which will give you ideas for a good bundle. Okay, here we go. Gardening accessories set. So now you've completely come out of the garden twine niche and you've created your own new niche selling garden accessories. So we've got, what are they, little peg thingies, green twine, brown twine, a little bag, some kind of sack, and whatever these are, like clipper, trimmer things, secateurs, whatever they are, right? Who knows? Maybe this bundle could do really, really well, or something similar. Maybe you could just sell the twine and the pegs together. And immediately now you have completely differentiated yourself from all the other people on page 1 who are battling and fighting and clawing and scratching and price warring to sell their products when they're just selling the twine by itself. So look, there's plenty of opportunities for gap in the marketplace. So you know what? I'm going to give it, because there's not too, I mean, it's not like there's loads of issues, but there are issues, so I'm going to give it a 15. Let me try and be a little bit fair. Okay, these are my scores for the product. Generally, looks pretty good. It's not, it's not too, it's not too crazy. It just looks like a pretty good product. So there's one more element that I want to talk about, which doesn't really fit into the radar, and you can't really teach it, and it's kind of a little bit, it just comes from experience, really. And so it's important to talk about because you'll develop this for yourself. It's called the hunch. The hunch. So as you develop your business, as you decide what type of products that you want to launch on Amazon, as your business starts to grow and develop, as your brand starts to grow, you'll start to get a hunch about certain products. I have some friends that have e-commerce businesses who have a way higher tolerance for hassle than me. Like, they're totally fine selling products that are crazily oversized, that are massive, that are really awkward to source, that require loads of prep, that require loads of manpower to actually sell. And because they're willing to put up with all this hassle, their hunches about a product, about how annoying it's going to be to sell, or other things, will be different to mine, because at the end of the day, they have a different business. They are willing to do different stuff to sell products, and you're going to have to be the one that does this work. So it has to be okay with you, or you're going to have to hire other people to do the work. Either way, but the point is, everyone's hunch will be slightly different, and it comes probably after you've launched, I'd say, at least 3 or 4 products. You start to develop this, and it's a combination of things. One of the things that strikes me about this niche that hasn't really come up in the radar is the price point. And you've probably already noticed this. The keen-eyed people watching this video have probably already seen, like, the price is kind of low on most of these listings on page 1, and probably to compete with at least just the garden twine sellers, you will probably have to be in the £6, £7, £8, £9 kind of range, which doesn't always give much room for profit in many cases. However, I have some products that sell for £5.99 that make 33% profit and have been doing for years. I know some people whose businesses consist only of products that are selling for less than $10 in the US, so about £8, and they're doing like 80 grand a month selling those kind of products profitably. So you should never be like really rigid with price points. In fact, what you should do is do the calculations, get a quote for, say, 1,000 pieces of garden twine or 500, and see, can you make profit with it? Because if you can make profit selling something for £5, then sell it. It doesn't matter. There's no rules. Just you need to be able to make profit. However, obviously, the more you can charge, the easier it is in most cases to make profit, because you have more room after all expenses to make that margin. So something to consider. So because of that and a few other things, it kind of brings, I get a slightly bit of a weird feeling about this niche. It's one of those ones I'd definitely still just do a test batch, because why not? If it fits into your brand, if you sell kind of garden outdoor stuff, just do a test batch. I mean, who cares? Get 10 pieces, bundle it, put it into a little garden accessories set, try and sell it. Who knows? It could actually do really well. Sometimes niches surprise you. If you bundled it into a set, you could probably charge £15 or £20, and now you have a lot higher chance of making profit, which is always a good thing, right? So, in terms of my hunch, I'd say, out of 20, I'm going to give this a 10, because there are going to be some issues, I reckon, with the price, and we're definitely going to have to do something to make sure we're profitable. Right? So high demand 13, low competition 14, low hassle 17, gap 15, hunch 10. Let's add all this up. I'm not going to do it in my head, because I'll probably, if I do it while I'm shooting a video, I'll probably just completely mess it up. So high demand 13 plus low competition 14 plus low hassle 17 plus gap, which is 15, plus hunch gives us a total score 69 out of 100 for this niche. That's not too bad. That's a pretty decent product. I would say definitely go out and test batch this. If you want to sell products in the kind of outdoor space, go put together like a garden accessories set, just like the one we saw on Google. Who knows? For the right person, this could be the perfect product. Or try some other thing. There's probably other things people use twine for, such as gift wrapping. Maybe you could do a gift wrapping set with some gift wrapper, some twine, and test it. Test multiple. You could test the twine by itself. Everyone's selling 2 rolls of twine. Maybe you could try a bundle of 3. Test the garden accessory set. Test the gift wrapping set. See which one sells the best. Whichever one does, order a larger amount, and then make it profitable. Alright, I hope this has been insightful for you. It's been super fun to shoot. It's actually quite an interesting niche. Hope it's given you some insights. So go out, check out this niche. Keep doing product research. By the way, there's some links in the description if you want to get some more help from me personally as you continue looking for products and building your business. I have a handbook which will help you learn exactly how I find niches like this and how I analyze them very lot of detail, and some other things as well. If you want to get some personal help from me, there's a link to apply in the description as well. All right, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you very soon.